You're playing life on hard mode right now. You see, what you know as yourself is only one part of the equation, a very small part. There's another part of you who is not physically focused in this reality. When you focused into this physical body, when you were born into this world of physical senses and touch and taste and sound and smell and hearing, this tactile world, a part of you stayed behind in the non-physical. And little do you know, you're actually in constant communication with this part of yourself. You might not be aware of it, but it's the truth. You are. And the way that you communicate, that this part of you communicates with you countless times every day, at any moment, is through your emotions. You see, in this physical world of contrast and diversity, we're able to experience things and see what we like, what we don't like, what resonates with us energetically, what doesn't resonate with us. And as we experience this world of form, as we experience different situations, people, objects, circumstances, events, behaviors, we form opinions based on what appeals to us and what doesn't. Now, this isn't something that you can turn off. This is a natural, automatic process. You can lie to yourself, you can be in denial about liking certain things or not liking certain things, having certain desires or not. If somebody may tell you that you're not supposed to feel a certain way, but you can't help but feeling that way. Whether it's approved of or disapproved of by other beings in your physical reality, or by your culture, your society, etc. As soon as you have an experience and a desire is born within you, the non-physical part of yourself instantaneously becomes the desired version of yourself. Now, you could be having a negative experience, you could be having a terrible day. You could get into a car accident, you could run your car into a pole. Instantaneously, the non-physical part of yourself is a great driver with a perfect driving record. You don't even have to specifically clarify in your mind. As soon as a desire is formed within you, that non-physically focused version of you immediately expands to become that person. It's not your job to do this, you being the physically focused part of you. This is the job of that part of you who is not here physically focused in our world. It happens automatically. Now, just because that version of you has automatically assumed the desired version, has expanded because of this contrast, because of these new desires that have been born within your physical body, doesn't mean that the physically focused version of you is experiencing the same thing. You could be going through this whole oh, I'm such a terrible driver. I can't believe, how did I crash my car into that post? God, I'm worthless, I'm useless, I just lost all this money, how am I gonna pay off this, blah, 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 blah. You could be going through this whole monologue in your head about how you're the worst driver in the world, but it doesn't matter. Your non-physically focused version of yourself does not see you that way. To that version of you, you are now you're now an even better driver than you were before you got in the accident. Now you're just an outstanding, flawless, perfect driver. And people make comments on how good you are at driving every time you get in the car. Wow, I feel so safe when I'm in the car with you, etc. This is just an example. But when you now, in your physically focused body, think thoughts that are not in accordance, not in alignment with this new, expanded, non-physical version of yourself, your emotions tell you so. Unwanted emotions are a sign of resistance. Because you see, now that the non-physical version of yourself has expanded out from the physical version, now that it has grown, there's a tension that exists between your physically focused version of yourself and your non-physical version. Like a rubber band being stretched. These two parts of each other now have a force that is moving, that is wanting to draw the non-physical version forward, so to speak, to align with the physical version, the non-physical version of yourself. You cannot turn off this tension if you tried, because, like I said, the non-physical version of yourself has already expanded. You cannot not expand to meet your desires. As soon as the desire is born within you, the part of yourself that you've forgotten about, that non-physical self, already is embodying the expanded desire. And the universe has lined up all of the necessary opportunities, experiences, people, circumstances to get you from where you are to where you would be as somebody who is embodying the new expanded desire, somebody who is in alignment, who is in accordance, who has strengthened the relationship with and has re-met the version of themselves that is not physically focused, that has already expanded. Now, it is not as the physically focused version of yourself, that part of yourself, it is not your job to expand, and it is not your job to figure out the details of how you are going to get there, how you are going to meet the non-physically focused part of yourself. So what is your job? This is going to sound very simple. It might sound hokey. Just trust me. Your job as the physically focused version of yourself is only to feel good. What? Only to feel, yes, only to feel good. You see, when you feel good, the non-physical part of yourself is indicating to you, the physically focused self, through emotion, that you are thinking, that you are acting, that you are experiencing, and focusing your own attention in alignment with the expanded version of yourself. AKA, you are not in resistance to the pull that has been created between the two aspects of yourself. Your metaphorical boat is now pointed perfectly downstream, and you are allowing yourself to expand and become more than you were before the desire was launched. It sounds so simple, feel good. But there are a lot of ways in which we prevent ourselves from doing that. There's a lot of ways in which we really overcomplicate this. And in future videos, I'm going to get into these ways. We're going to break down and deconstruct a lot of the ways in which we convince ourselves that to resist the flow, turn our boats upstream and struggle against this natural process that is always happening. But in the meantime, I'm not going to lose myself in the details because I could be here for hours talking about different ways. So right now I'm just giving you the basic premise. I'm just giving you the basic reminder that you have forgotten about a crucial aspect of your being as you have been immersed here in this physical world. You are denying an integral part of yourself, part of your wholeness. And guess what? You can feel that through the negative emotion, through the suffering that you have been experiencing here in this world, trying to figure out what the point of everything is, what life is about. Does life have purpose, or is it just purposelessness? Because when you don't accept, when you don't acknowledge this part of yourself, you're working with an incomplete equation. There's no way for you to solve anything when you're only working with part of the equation. It's just literally impossible to understand the mechanics of our world if you're taking everything at very literal face value, okay? Your job, now look, there are many people who have figured this out on some level without necessarily mentally comprehending it in the way that I'm explaining it to you right now. Because there are people who so strongly follow their passion in life, follow their excitement, they will sacrifice anything and everything to do what feels good to them. There are so many people that just live like this automatically. They have some physical memory. They know this intuitively on some level, so they don't need to conceptualize it like this. If anything, people who don't overthink things and don't worry about the meaning of things and solely follow their intuition and passion are completely living this truth, embodying this and naturally doing this without being able to explain it intellectually. But for people like myself who have a tendency to overthink things, who are curious about life and the mechanics of life, how stuff works, why we're here, maybe you were raised with certain ideology that you became disillusioned with, and you have not been able to replace that with something that feels steadier, that makes sense to you intuitively. For people like us, it's really important to remember how simple of an equation this is, and really how so very simple at its core our job is, our task is in this equation. All of the hard work is taken care of by the part of yourself that you've forgotten about. And everything around you is complying to this, whether you like it or not. So when you think and behave and act in ways that don't feel good, that feel tight, constricting, maybe anxiety inducing, depressive, if you're focused on unwanted aspects of your life, of things that you see as going wrong, as things that are displeasing to you, if you're someone who is really good at explaining everything that's wrong about your life in the world, if you call your friends to gossip and tell them every single thing that went wrong with your day every day, if you're texting everyone, if you're making a post about it, if you're so well versed in your sob story and in your victimhood and in everything that does not feel good about life, all that you're doing is refusing the call of your non-physical self. You are telling that version of yourself, well, you're actually not even telling them anything because you're completely unaware of them. But you're telling them, I'm gonna try and do this on my own. I'm gonna try and force. All you're doing is turning your boat upstream on a stream that will never stop moving. This is a natural process that happens with all consciousness, and therefore it is an inevitable, infinite process, because the non-physical version of yourself is not mortal like you are. It won't die after, an average of 85 years or whatever it is that we're here focused into this temporary. This does not have a physical body. You, on this level, do not have a physical body. It is only the part of you that is temporarily physically focused that does. Really think about that. You have no choice in that matter. That is something that is much bigger than your temporary little physical life that is happening right here, right now, during which you're watching this video and listening to this message. So why would you resist the call? It's so futile. It's so pointless. All you have to do is start looking for ways that feel good, because then on a deeper intuitive level that you are on your right path. That's why it feels so bad when somebody tells you that something that you want or something about yourself is wrong, or is like uncool, or will isolate you from other people or society. It's not normal, it's weird, it's strange. If you listen to them, basically what you're saying is this other person who has their own non-physical part of themselves, who has their own life experiences, desires, tastes that have been born from all of this contrast. This temporary physical being's perspective is more important than that of my eternal, all-powerful, non-physically focused self. And that's why it feels so bad to your physical body, because that part of you that is infinitely powerful and creative, that can instantaneously expand to become any version of yourself that you want it to, is screaming at you, wake up, wake up, wake up. You are so much more than this. We are so much more. Together, we are infinite. We are unstoppable. Here I am waiting for you. I have everything lined up for you. I've figured out so many paths, so many people, so many ways that I can get you here with me again, here in alignment with me, here to acknowledge me, to remember me, to feel me in your life, and to live your physical life with such steadfast conviction, knowing that you are supported on a massive, unimaginable scale. Stop listening to these other people who have their own version of this. If chances are, if somebody's telling you how you should live your life, the chances are that they have lost their own relationship with the physical, non-physical expanded self, with that aspect of themselves as well. Because anybody who is able to maintain that relationship, who remembers that relationship, who is looking for ways to feel good, looking for positive aspects of their life to focus on, anybody who's living their life like that has no desire to tell anybody else how they should live their life. Because you know that it's not anybody else's job to please you. You know that it's futile to try and control other people, to manipulate your reality to please you, because you know you're going about things completely backwards. That does not feel good. You're trying to do the job of that part of yourself that you forgot about, because you forgot there's a part of yourself that's already doing that job for you every waking moment of your life. So don't listen to somebody who's trying to force you to be a certain way that they find pleasing to them, because guess what? It's never going to work for them, and you pleasing them is never going to work for you, because you're denying the part of yourself that is so much greater, that is infinitely expanding and allowing you and inviting you and calling you and offering you to join them in expansion. This is why we have energy, why we feel a draw forward, why we feel excited, why we feel drawn and attracted to things, how we have that movement, because life is a constant dance of experience of reality, expansion of your non-physical life, and then the chance for you to continue to move forward to meet that part of yourself. So don't think of this as, once I figure everything out and get to this one place in life, where I'm in alignment with my non-physical self, then I'll just be perfectly happy. No, this is a continual expanding process. So the goal as the physically focused part of yourself, and as the goal of this channel, is for us to begin to tune the instruments of our body to live and behave in a way in which we are in continuous expansion, continuous acknowledgement of our non-physically focused selves, and to experience the joy and bliss and confidence and assuredness and every quality you've ever desired to embody in this life by remembering and choosing in each moment to acknowledge the part of ourselves that we've forgotten about for so long, who is already doing all of this work for us. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.